Hello, it's me, creator of Slog Prog, where life may be a slog, but progress is progress. And on that note, I haven't posted in a really long time on YouTube because, very simply, I was scared. I was so scared. The more I waited, the longer it took for me to get in my chair and make something for you guys. And today, I'm treating you all to a speed paint of Maomao from Apothecary Diaries with a lantern. Originally, the grand plan was to have this masterpiece where Maomao, the ringleader, the puppeteer, would have this kind of gazebo pergola thing with different levels of this pagoda pergola thing with all of the different characters kind of going around inside of this lantern building, and I was gonna have it where the closer you zoomed in, the more characters from the show you would see, and I would sell it as like this massive, beautiful piece. Well, I realized that on my iPad while I was drawing, I didn't put enough pixels, and so as I zoomed in, it just didn't have enough pixels to work with to still keep any form of detail so that you would be able to recognize the characters I wanted to put in. So there went my plan, but I started off, as you can see, drawing dear little Maomao, and I started off with a classic Maomao face, and I quickly realized that that's been done. You go to any convention nowadays and you see Maomao, Jinchi, the whole cast. Maomao is everywhere, and her holding a lantern is not going to add anything new to the anime sphere. And if there's one thing I really want to make sure with my art is that if I do fan art, that it has something to say. It has the essence of the show, any sort of soul, I guess, that the show had that I'm going to want to convey through art, because at least as a potential client, if I'm being completely honest, when I go there, sometimes I just see portraits of characters that I love, but if it's just portraits without anything extra, I mean, this is really bad to say, but why not just print off the portrait from the show? Why not just print it off from the original material or buy it from the original company? And of course, it can be said that the personal style of the artist definitely adds value. So if that's the argument, absolutely buy the picture of Maomao or Jinchi or any other character that you love in that particular artist's style, simply doing portraiture or recreating a scene. But in my eyes, I see Ghibli art, for example, and it's just recreations of the original, and the original is just so breathtakingly beautiful. I just feel like I would rather spend money elsewhere, and so that's where I tried to pivot with this particular project, and you can see my attempts at it, where I was thinking to myself, okay, well, there was this image of, unfortunately, AI-generated art that said, hey, this is what anime characters would look like if they were real people, and so I challenged myself, okay, I'm going to try to draw, not at all related to AI art, but I'm going to try to draw what I think Maomao would look like as a real human in my style. Well, when I say style, I mean whatever comes out, because unfortunately I don't have much control there yet, but let me try to draw a real Maomao human face, and you can tell by just how long it took me to get the eyes right, the detail right. Well, it took a while, and there was just something about the mouth and the nose where she comes from an Asian background, specifically of Chinese influence, but you also know that in the show she's got a very impressive nose bridge, which a lot of Asian, well, I mean, I'm Asian and I don't have a nose bridge whatsoever. So you try to balance between the influence accuracy of a real person from that area versus the show to actually make it look real, but not so real as to lose, resemblance to the original material. And I honestly still don't think I got it right. I don't think that she looks like Maomao. I think the green hair and the unique hairstyle definitely helps people identify that I was trying to draw this character. But if it weren't for the hair, and if it weren't for the greenness of it, I don't think people would know that this is Maomao. Oh yes, and just to add on, I gave her poison scene garb. I believe that's where she's wearing this particular outfit. I don't know, I just thought the colors are pretty, and I just recall the show being so breathtakingly beautiful. I thought, oh, why not? I'll stick it in. And more decisions as we go, you can see me erasing, going back and forth, being very indecisive, but that's kind of my drawing process, where if a color doesn't look good, or if a texture looks wrong, or if it's taking a while, well, trial and error, I guess. And I ended up using my own hands as reference for this piece, because nowhere was I anywhere on the internet were there hands that were doing what I wanted them to do. And because I knew that the light source was going to come from the center of her hands, I didn't mind just kind of imagining a little bit of the light source in my reference pictures. But I think the general outline of the hands turned out fine. Anyways, that's enough bashing on myself. I am genuinely proud of this piece, not because of the likeliness to my Maomao, but for the fact that it's month 3 of me learning Procreate from only drawing traditional before, and Procreate is kind of a learning curve for sure, but I am so thankful that I went from traditional art to digital, whereas I can imagine if you were going from digital to traditional, you would be roughing it a little bit, I'd imagine, because there's no undo button in traditional. I still don't know what the hand icon means right next to the eraser and the brush tool, but I'm sure if I look it up, I'll be able to figure it out. Anyways, on a side note, I did my first markets. I learned a lot. I was gonna make a video vlog of it, but it went so poorly. Well, I can't say it went poorly. It went so unexpectedly, I'll say that. Keep it positive, keep it optimistic. That explains why I just haven't made a video about it, because for the next little few days I was at such a loss at what to do, given I had poured so much time and energy trying to get Slog Prog off the ground, I guess, that I kind of went through the motions of, oh god, what if this is not gonna work? And something that really helped me kind of get back on my feet was podcasts, and specifically podcasts from Christian Nee, the 1 Hour Art School, where he takes all these industry professionals and asks them questions about their journey, their tips, their tools, how to beat motivation, how to beat burnout, how to stay to it. And every single podcast kind of has the same kind of conclusion of, it's hard for everyone. Once you've made it, it doesn't feel any different. And you have to do it because you love it and no other reason. And time again, he just kind of repeats the very obvious yet difficult to accept conclusion that you just have to do it. You have to just put your head down and do the work. And I guess the reason why it's so hard to accept it is because when you're doing the work, it feels good and it feels gratifying, but you don't know if you're doing the work. There's no sign or there's no concrete proof that what you are doing is indeed what you should be doing to move forward. I guess because there's no evidence of you actually moving forward. I'm showing you this Maomao, speed paint because this is actually not my very first Procreate character speed paint. In between my last video and this video, I told all my friends that I was going to render their D&D characters, and I guess that was really helpful in hindsight to force myself to do character creation, which I've never done before, on a platform, Procreate, that I had never used before. And it taught me how to paint textures, it taught me how to render, wood, flesh, hair, plate armor. One of them's wearing a plate armor. And you had different types of body types. There's a knackered drunk in that campaign. Anyways, I don't mind going over those speed paints eventually, but only after Christmas has well and passed, just to make sure that they've properly enjoyed their characters. Maybe then I'll do a show and tell of the characters and their backgrounds and what I know about them, but essentially those were the stepping stones for me to feel comfortable actually rendering a person to then show on the internet. Because without those, I don't actually know if I would have had the skills to pull off a semi-decent Maomao, much less any kind of human. Anything I had drawn previously were, as you know, Pikmins, and Pikmins are very, very easy, or much easier than this level of complexity and shapes and forms. Anyways, I hope they enjoy their Christmas presents, and given my skills as an artist, it seemed like the obvious thing to do to give them personalized commissions. And if anything, halfway through it was mostly to learn things for myself, and just as much for them as it was for me, so I'll let you know how that came out. So let me go back to the drawing. Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a second. What am I drawing here? Right, so I was drawing the lantern. Yes, so if you recall, I mentioned that I wanted this grandiose, palace-like pagoda-type thing, and realized that if I were to draw that, it would actually obstruct most of Maomao's face, or whoever this individual posing as Maomao is face, and realized, you know what, simpler is kind of better sometimes. And so I drew this, and I decided, oh, well, I could put Jinchi in there, kind of like how Maomao really has him on strings and has him do whatever the hell she wants. And then I realized, as I mentioned previously, the pixel problem, where Jinchi's features were not coming through. I could not get details, too small, so I just proceeded with my best attempt at a semi-decent lantern, and I know that in the show, the lantern fruit is a huge motif in the second season, and to pair off the second season lantern fruit motif, I also made sure to incorporate the first season nail polish motif, just so that we had a callback to both seasons in a discreet yet pleasant way. I also realized that the original scene does not have her hairstyle match that outfit. The outfit was from the poison testing scene, and she didn't have that hairstyle. So that's just me being nitpicky about the inaccuracies of my drawing versus the source material. But I hope that, whoever looks at it can appreciate the work that was put in behind it. Obviously, this is a time lapse of 20 minutes, but if it's a time lapse of 20 minutes and it's a times, whatever factor, you can imagine it took me quite a long time to finish this one. But regardless of how long it took me to put it into effect, I am very happy with how it turned out, and I am really happy that I was able to take all of the things I had learned from drawing my friends' D&D portraits and just kind of cumulatively just put it into a personal project. Something that I was proud of, and a show that I really, really admire for its storytelling, music, and just representation. I don't know much about Chinese historical events, and I know that Apothecary Diaries is a purely fictional work, much like they remind us every opening, but I still really appreciate the lessons that it kind of taught me in terms of internal court systems. I wasn't aware of how those types of systems worked back in Emperor times. Now, part of the reason why I chose specifically Apothecary Diaries, and I think my next one's gonna probably be a Frieren drawing, just because those two shows have really marked and impacted me a lot over this past 2025 year, as it has for a lot of people. And so I kind of did a cost-benefit analysis of my time, the time it would take me to make such a drawing that I would be proud of, the public popularity of the show, but also the runtime. For example, I needed a show that had enough material that I could make allusions to and sort of wink-wink imagery to, but I also needed a show that I knew was going to be renewed for multiple seasons later, because if I were ever to sell this as a product or a print or any form of item in my shop, well, I would want it to stay pertinent for quite some time. I would want it to actually thrive in conventions if I ever made it in. As of right now, I just started this year, and let's say that I don't get into any conventions for at least a year. Well, I would want to make sure that the things that I'm drawing, still have a lifespan by the time that I make it in. And I guess that's all the things that come into play when I'm deciding on what to draw. Like I mentioned, Frieren is an amazing candidate for that. I was thinking maybe a duality of the past and the future, kind of how the show presents it to us. And I was thinking maybe Frieren, the back to the audience, with two mirrors of her with her old team and her with her new team, kind of angled towards the Frieren that is looking at the mirror straight on ahead. And anyways, so I wrote down that idea, much like Maomao with the lantern. It's bound to change given my technical limitations, but it'll be interesting. Another one that I was thinking about in the works was, Has-Been Hotel. I know that they came out with a second season recently. My partner and I loved that show. Oh my god, they swear so much. But, the soundtrack, my heart, I'm listening to it on loop, and it made me want to show support and passion and love for the show in a way that fan art to me is kind of the only way to do it within my skill set, to just capture the soul and the essence of the show in an image, to just celebrate it. And Has-Been is another great candidate for that, where there's 2 more seasons guaranteed to come up, and the past 2 were amazing. So we're coming to the end of the speed draw. I'm just adding a couple background stuff and TLDR, turning on the lantern, and hope you enjoyed this speed draw paint session on Procreate, and I guess look forward to my next few projects of Frieren and Has-Been and past projects that I've elaborated on, like Rip with Pix. I've actually drawn more for that at a higher scale now that I've learned more Procreate.